If you're using something as a means to an end, you're not gonna enjoy yourself. It's that simple. If you do something you love to do, you're not in it for the money. You're not in it for the fame. You're not in it for the significance. You're not in it for the paycheck. You're not in it for any of those things. You're in it because you're in it for it.
Yeah.
You're not using it as a means to an end. It is the end. And when you do things and you try and do it backhanded and unconsciously or subconsciously trying to get attention for it or get money for it or feel good for it or get love and connection for it or do it to be liked or whatever, you're fucking yourself. Because now you're spending all of your time using things, using people, using situations so that you can jump over that and reach your significance. Jump over that and reach your money. Jump over that and reach your attention or whatever it is that you're using it as a means to an end for. But the more you do that, the worse you're gonna feel about yourself. And if you do that with a career, you do that with a hobby, you do that with anything, you're gonna feel like a piece of shit. And rightfully so. It's your body and your mind's way of telling you you're not in it for the right reasons. You are not. Because if you were in it for the right reasons, you wouldn't want the secondary payoff. You wouldn't go to work whether or not you got a paycheck. You wouldn't be checking your bank account every single day saying, did I get enough money? Where are my tips? Where's this? You'd be like, oh, I'm here because I love it.
I feel the same way with videography.
You could tell.
No. Not that I do it in itself.
Really? Whoa.
Yeah, dude.
What? Ready.
Yeah, buddy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that
concludes episode 70.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed episode number 70 of the Conscious Cast. I'm your host, Cal, along with my other boy, Mr. Jason Scaloro.
Shut up, bro.
Hit that button. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode number 70 of the Conscious Cast. I'm your host, Cal, along with my other boy, Mr.
Jason
Scalora. What's going on, my dude?
Not much. Oh, also episode 23 of the
Oh,
Jason
yes,
Scalora Show.
and episode 23 of the Jason
It's a
Scalora.
dual episode.
All
right, so for those of you that don't know, I
10
fucked
minutes.
up my leg playing soccer.
You buddy.
Yeah, whatever. No broken bones, but I may have torn a ligament in my ankle. But we'll see. I have to get an MRI. So something hit me when I was sitting there. I couldn't move. I couldn't move my ankle and I couldn't walk on it. They had to take me on the little golf cart thing up to the rec center for me to get evaluated by the EMT team. And when I'm sitting there, all my teammates, like after the game finished, came back up and they were sitting there with me, waiting around. And a couple of them were like, "Bro, how are you so calm right now?" And I was like, it made me feel nice. Like it was a nice little ego boost. Yeah. But then it made me like reflect, and I was like, me 5 years ago would be making the most of this, would be fucking, making a scene like, oh my God, my ankle. And like, but now it's just it gave me a sign of like, what I'm doing is actually working. Because if I didn't spend the time and the energy and the effort to try and make my mental health better, when little shit like hurting your ankle, like, yes, it was a little bit on the extreme side of just getting hurt, but like fucking up your body or being in a situation where there's high stress, there's a couple police officers around me, there's EMT around me, they're giving me my vitals, everybody's looking, my friends are passing by, and they're asking, oh my God, what happened? What's going on? Look at your ankle. It looks like there's a fucking bocce ball in your ankle. Like, what's going on?
You see that picture?
I do have the picture.
Okay, no, I'll throw it up on the screen.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. And like people, like, it wasn't a big deal. Like, it's an ankle. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, I'm not dying. And like, but it didn't take me until the next day for me to calm down. Like, I feel like the repetitions of just constantly being in situations and learning how to handle those situations, whether there's high stress or low stress, being able to just objectively take myself out and be like, look at it for what it actually is. Yeah. I'm like, my thought process is not, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to walk. What's gonna happen? And like, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, it's an ankle. Like, yes, it hurts. I'm gonna get it fixed. I'm gonna get it checked out. I might be on crutches for a couple weeks, but like, I'll be good. Like, even if it's broken, like, I'll be good. Like, it's a broken ankle, if at worst, or a torn ligament at worst. Like, what's really? Why am I gonna flip out? What is there to flip out? Like, logically, we could talk about this as we're sitting here comfortable in a nice room. And logically, other people can sit there and be like, yeah, I wouldn't flip out. But then you would. Like, I know that I would have, the old me would have before I had started working on myself. But it made me realize, I'm like, this is a signpost of you working on yourself. And it helps. Absolutely. And it helps me in any area of life because I'm just not stressed out. Like, if you look at you, even when you have a lot on your plate, you have to edit a podcast, you have to post your TikToks, you're making a page, you're trying to do your job for rec, you're recording and editing for that. On top of that, you're a full-time student, you're an RA. Like, you have all these things that you're juggling. To the outside, you're like, oh my God. Like, I'm sure Cal's just running around sweating, like, what am I going to do? No. Like, you're good. Like, you have a full plate of things that could give you anxiety, but with the amount of work and effort you've put into yourself and your mental health, it doesn't give you any of those feelings. You know what I'm saying?
No, I absolutely agree with that too, because like outside looking in, it's like people can be like, oh my God, like what the fuck? Like I remember one time I was looking at this videographer, and this guy like literally posts every single day, and it's like incredibly high quality content, and it would take me such a long time to do. Like and in my mind at the time, like out from the outside looking in, I was like, oh my God, how does he do this in such a short amount of time? How does he dedicate himself? How does he commit himself to do stuff like that? And then like kind of like what the thought that I had there, it's just inside looking out, that's just how it is for him, right?
Yeah.
That's his own system of beliefs, morals, philosophies, way of life. It's just how it's his habits, right? It's so normal to him. It probably feels like nothing to him, right? And like relating it back to the other, like, you know, you injuring your foot and like, you know, both of our lives in general, and like a lot of people that have busy lives but are able to keep a peaceful foundation. It's just they've been able to condition themselves. And I think it really goes to the root core of like within their minds, right? Their mental health, right? They've been able to condition themselves to, I think, be very present, concentrated, and mindful of the tasks that they have to do at hand while keeping in mind everything that they have to do, everything else going on within their lives, right? And I guess specifically relating it to like your type of situation, it's almost as though you don't want the attention, right? Not necessarily you don't want the attention, but the attention doesn't affect you nearly as much anymore. Right. Because I find, like, similar to you, like, I had like an injury back in like 7th grade, and I remember like I was walking on crutches, and I was like, in a way, I wanted it to happen, right? Like, I wanted it to happen because it would give me all this attention. Like, oh my God, Cal, are you okay? Like, all the hot chicks would be like, oh, Cal, what happened? I'm like,
I'm gonna keep getting hurt. This is amazing.
It's a fucked mindset to have, right? But that just shows that attention is one of the most significant energies that human beings thrive off of. And I think if you can take away what you can take away from this message is, if you can thrive without attention on you, right? And you can really not be affected when attention is on you, you will be able to be a very independent person that is able to tackle a lot of tasks and handle a lot of difficult situations that don't necessarily have to be seen.
Right. And I think because like even when I initially got like hurt the other day, or like here's a better example. When I walked into the lobby in my building and like people were like, "Oh," like I had those good feelings, like of like significance, like oh my God, all the eyes are on me, like all the significance, all this attention. But then like afterwards, I didn't feel great about it. Like I didn't like I felt like shitty almost about the fact that, you know, I was feeling good because of pity. Like I feel like maturing is realizing that attention comes in positive and negative forms. And eventually when you mature, you realize you don't really want the negative attention. Like that doesn't mean you mature with your age. I mean emotionally, because there are plenty of
but you still feel the pull for that negative attention.
It still feels good. So it's almost like you don't know whether it's positive or negative attention until afterwards when you reflect, right? Because looking back afterwards, you know, if I'm making a whole scene to try and get people to look at me, you know, subconsciously or unconsciously, trying to like, you know, exaggerate things and be like, oh my God, I'm so helpless. Please help me. Like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Just trying to get attention. Like, let's say, like, or if I try and take this injury to the max and get attention for it so that I can feel significant, that's going to feel shitty afterwards. But if I can, you know, go on a stage in front of 100,000 people and preach a sermon and change people's lives, that attention's going to feel great in the moment and after.
Yeah, but you don't need it.
These crutches, that attention, if I'm flaring about and trying to, you know, feel significant, is going to feel good in the moment. but then afterwards I'm going to feel like a loser. So that's basically it. It's like I feel like when you mature emotionally, you no longer have this strong desire for the pity attention.
Yeah.
For the fucking shower me with gifts because, woe is me attention. You want the achievement, accolades, progress attention. That's positive for you and positive for everybody else.
Yeah, and I think I really like that distinction you made, because you'll still feel that initial pull for like the negative attention, right? And it feels good in the short term, but like you said, in the long term, when that attention is not on you, right, you feel shitty. Even still, like even if you complain all this, right, you get all this attention, right? Yeah, like I said before, it might not even feel good. Like when you even offer that, right, and people don't give you that attention that you really want,
right?
And I think, like you said, when you mature, right, and you don't, I think like an extension of what you said, you're in some ways, when you're in search and you, I guess, kind of want that positive attention, right? You want that recognition for like the accolades, the achievements. I find an extension of that is, right, so you shift from not wanting that negative attention, right? Now you want that positive attention, right? Yeah. I think when you even mature even farther and you get to a point where you're only necessarily receiving positive attention, right? I think you don't even necessarily want it, right? I think you just do something in itself for itself, right? And then a byproduct of that is positive, right? And even though like sometimes you might want that positive confirmation, like I feel that all the time, right? When it comes to video editing, when it comes to all these different types of things, right? It feels good, like because I want feedback in order to know I'm on the right path, know? But I don't necessarily pursue that, right? I don't pursue those comments. Like I don't pursue making my boss happy, right? Like I just do stuff to the best of my ability, right? And as like that's the main goal, right? Doing stuff like editing a video to the best of its ability, right? Or waiting tables to the best of its ability. And then a byproduct of that is like, oh, people are really satisfied. People are really happy with the work I'm doing, right? And as you begin to mature, right, you're not focused on the attention you're not focused on the attention that the activity can give you, right? You're not using the activity as a means to an end. You're doing the activity solely in itself for itself.
Right. So essentially, okay.
Yeah, I know it's kind of like a.
I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
To me, tell me if I'm wrong. The way that it's coming across is when you mature, your goal shifts from trying to get attention for something to then doing the thing just for the thing.
Yep.
Right. So you wait tables so that you can wait tables to the best of your ability, not so that people will like you, not so that you'll make more money, just so that you can wait tables and be of service in the best way possible.
Yep.
Yeah. No, nothing else.
Yeah.
Anything else that comes as a byproduct of that, getting a raise, getting attention for it, being the employee of the month for it, whatever comes as a byproduct of that, comes as a byproduct of that. And it's not that it doesn't feel nice, but the goal was never be employee of the month.
Yeah.
The goal was never let me feel significant.
The roles have flipped.
Right.
Yeah.
When you mature, your outcome is to do the thing, to do the thing.
Yeah.
Not to do the thing to get attention, to do the thing to feel significant or whatever.
Yeah. And I think this comes into a lot of things with status, right?
Right.
Positioning in society, like how people view you, right? And people, like we've touched on this so many times, people just get jobs, right? People just adapt certain characteristics, behaviors in college, in adult life, in childhood, right? Just to be viewed a certain way, right? And they're not actually being able to be themselves, right? Do what they love and just pursue all these things in themselves, right? So really once you find out who you are, right? Whether this be just authentically, right? And you start to do what you love, right? You'll start to do things such as YouTube, content creation, video editing, and you won't give a fuck about what anybody says. Sure, it'll be an adjustment, right? Definitely, no doubt about that. But you'll start to do things that you love. And the attention, the comments, sure, they might affect you temporarily, right?
They'll make you feel good.
Yeah, they'll make you feel good. Yeah, they'll make you feel good, right? But you'll just continue on that path, continue doing passions, regardless of what people say, 100%. External factors, and the like.
Right, and I think a big important side note on this is like when you realize, so like right now we're talking about the power of getting attention for things, right? And it can be good, it can be bad, it can be indifferent. But when you're somebody's friend, like here's a good example. If you come to me and you complain to me about some problem, if you're my friend and you come to me complaining about a problem that I know you have actual control over, And it's not that you need somebody to talk to. That's different. It's not that, you're coming to me like you need advice, or you're coming to me because you need to feel heard, because we all need that. But you're just coming to me to complain. If you come to me and complain about shit that I know you have control over, and I give you attention for that, I'm fucking you with that. I'm ruining you with that. Because if you come to me with your problems and say, oh, woe is me, I'm not to blame, I'm going to point the finger, I don't want to take responsibility, let me just complain, and I give you attention for that, say, oh, here's my sympathy, I'm so sorry. And I don't say, you know what, Cal, like, I love you, bro, but I got to tell you what you need to hear right now, which is pick your shit up. Like, stop complaining about it.
Yeah.
Because if I give you attention for it, give you my sympathy, give you my love and affection for your complaints, then you're being positively reinforced for complaining. Yeah. It's just like Pavlov and his dogs. Yeah. Every time he rings the bell, the dogs salivate. Why? Not because of the bell, because every time he brings out the food, he rings the bell. The dog salivates. Same thing. Repetition. But you can do that with complaining. If you complain for your problems, and then people say, oh my God, I'm so sorry, they give you their sympathy, you feel loved and connected and significant for it, your brain doesn't know the difference between good and bad. All it knows is, every time I complain, I feel good. Let's complain more.
Yeah.
Obviously. And so when you're coming to me, if I'm your real friend, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm not going to give you my sympathy unless you need my sympathy. If what you need is to be told to, hey, Cal, I love you, but fucking fix your shit, then what am I doing? I'm not actually your friend. And so as a friend of whoever, you need to be really cognizant of the fact that if you're giving people attention for certain things, what are you giving them attention for? And what is that going to do to their behavior? Is that reinforcing something good or reinforcing something bad? Like if you come to me like, dude, you know what? This has been a grueling process. Like a good example, every time I hear you, like come to me with something of like where you just kind of sent it and you just went for it and like, because that's kind of something that, you feel a little uncomfortable doing, if you don't mind me saying.
No, go for it.
Like just fucking sending it and like getting your foot in the door before having it all figured out.
Yeah.
Every time you come to me saying those kinds of things, like when you had that interview with that guy, that videographer.
Yeah.
I reinforce you like it's your fucking birthday.
Yeah.
Because I want you to get that positive, significant feelings of love, of connection, of significance, of feeling like I'm the fucking man every time I hear that, because I want you to feel reinforced. Like I'm not thinking like, let me positively reinforce it, but like I'm happy for you and I want you to feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
So I give you that attention. I maximize it because I want you to do those behaviors over and over again. But if you come to me with some bullshit, something that's a flaw, something where you fucked up, if you're complaining about something you actually have control over, I'm not going to give you those feelings of, oh, Cal, I feel you, man. That's really sad. Oh, God, that must be really tough, right? And a lot of times people don't realize it. I know I'm on a rant, but like a lot of times people don't realize this, as if you come to me with your problems and I give you attention, significance for it, and I give you the sympathy, even though that's not what you need. It's what you want. It's not what you need. I'm doing it because I want you to like me. So that's me being selfish because either I don't want to deal with the confrontation of having a difficult conversation of, hey, Cal, pick up your shit. That's an uncomfortable conversation. Or two, I want to feel liked. Because if you come to me, like 99% of people do when they complain and want attention for it, and I don't give you that attention, I'm risking being liked. But I'm risking it for a good reason. And if you don't do that to your friends, they're not your friends. That's not a good friend.
Yeah.
You're telling them what they want to hear, not what they need to hear.
And I think I fall into that trap a lot too. Like just yesterday, I think I literally did that exact thing. And it's tough, yeah, because like
we all do it.
No, I get it. Yeah, it's tough because like when you're in those type of conversations when people just want to be listened to, like I get it, and you're kind of there's not many choices in that situation, right? But I think, I would have to think about this scenario a little bit more to come up with a concrete solution.
So I think I need to emphasize the fact that if it's your friend, like if I'm talking with an acquaintance, somebody that I don't like, if I know somebody's talking to me and they don't want to be helped, I'm just gonna listen. I'm not gonna go overtly and give you attention for it because I know, like deep down, I'm still trying to help you. I'm not gonna give you attention for your problems, for you crying about things that I know you have control over. I'm not gonna be a dick, but I'm not gonna be like everybody else and be like, oh my God, this is terrible. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna lie to you either. Like if you ask for my truth, I'm gonna tell you the truth. But it doesn't mean you go and tell everybody what they need to hear because they need they need to hear. No.
You don't
That's not what I mean.
always have to say
You don't
what
go
need to
around
hear.
voicing your opinion to random people.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you should
If they
probably
want
just,
it, they can hear it. Yeah.
Right. You should probably just shut up and listen.
Yeah.
I'm talking about you as a specific example, and there's probably like 5 people that when they come to me with anything and they're complaining, that I can just straight up be like, hey, man, love you, but this is what you got to hear. I don't want to tell you this, but this is what you got to hear.
Yeah.
But I completely get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you probably should just listen.
Yeah, just listen.
And just be able to hear somebody, because a lot of times people just need to be heard.
Yeah, understand what they want. Yeah. They just. But I think going back to what you were saying, especially in situations like that, it just goes back to that using your current situation as a means to get attention, right? And because I was thinking about this too. It's like when my boy, or like when I'm asking for advice, right? My goal is not to get my goal is to get the advice, right? My goal
That makes
is
a lot of sense.
my goal is to just hear you out, right? Like my goal is not to just sound smart. My goal is not to like because when I genuinely because when I genuinely want advice on something, that is when you're most willing to listen to someone, right? And your open ears, you're most open-minded, and you're most likely to take their opinion and utilize it in a way that affects your own actions and behavior, right? So you're most willing, you don't care about the attention that's on you, right? You don't care about, I'm just trying to figure out a way to like tie this into attention. Like I
get what you're saying. It almost seems like you're saying when you want advice, you're here and you want the advice. Yeah. There's one line. Yeah. That's all you want is the advice. Yeah. But when you're going to get advice, but behind the advice is the attention, the significance, let me sound smart, let me look cool, let me feel like, I'm trying to do something.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
Then you're not going for the advice, you're going around it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
you don't really care about the advice.
You're using it as a means to an end.
Exactly, exactly. That's probably a lot of people in the self-improvement industry, right? They just spew shit out, and they're probably like a pretty good speaker, and it sounds really smart, but what do you know? People see through that type of stuff,
When you said that, it reminded me of something that I've been like dealing with a lot, and I haven't really thought about this until very recently, of a lot of people, like way more than I assumed, will come to me because like I'm the life coach guy, whatever, and they'll ask me for advice, but they just want to complain. And like it's hard because like I'm being tricked. Like they don't even know that they're tricking me. They don't even know consciously that they just want attention. But they're coming to me like, dude, I need advice. Like, right, I need, like, we need to talk. Like, this is very important. Like, we need to talk right now. And it's like the same thing over and over again. I'm like, huh. They don't actually want to change. They just want to, like, they're masking on the surface of, I'm going to Jason Scalora to talk about my issues, to get advice, to make my life better. When in reality, you could feel it in the conversation that, like, they're not susceptible to, like, a good example is when I'm having that conversation, they'll always cut me off when I'm actually giving them the advice, and they'll just tell me more about the problem. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, huh, maybe I just need, like, and I'm sitting there reflecting on myself, like, oh, maybe I should just be a better listener. And then I'm thinking, I'm like, actually, no. Like, anytime I've heard enough of somebody's story, and immediately I'm like, oh, I have a gem of advice. This is what you should do. This is what I would do in your situation. I say it, and immediately they're like, fucking, like, tell me. Like, I want to get better. They're like, they're on the edge.
Shut up and listen.
They want to know because they came to me for advice. They don't cut me off.
Genuinely for advice.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not because it's me and I'm a life coach. I'm 21. It doesn't matter who you're going to.
Yeah.
If people are asking you for advice and they don't actually take your advice, and every time you try and give them advice, they cut you off or tell you why they can't take that advice or give you excuses for why they can't do X, Y, and Z, they're not actually going to you for advice. They just want to complain about their problems. And that's fine. But in my situation, I'm not going to tolerate that. The second I find out, come to the realization of, oh, they come to me over and over again, they're not changing, and every time I try to give them advice, it doesn't work, I got to stop giving the advice, because A, it's devaluing my own opinion, it's devaluing my own word, because how's it going to make me feel every time I give the advice and nobody uses it? I'm going to feel like shit. I'm going to feel like that advice doesn't work, when in reality I'm giving it to the wrong people.
Yeah.
But 2, you're just giving them attention for the problems. That's all you're doing. Every time they come to you, they feel, oh, you know what? I did a good thing today. I complained about my problems and bitched about them all day. I'm going to do nothing about it. I'm going to go to them tomorrow and do the same exact thing. Like, that's what's going on. And if you enable that and you give them the attention and keep giving them the advice, you're reinforcing their shitty behavior.
Yeah. And
It's wild.
yeah, it's really interesting because I keep thinking, and it's in the back of my mind. I just keep thinking about the source that is like reinforcing this attention, right?
What do you mean by the source?
Like you as the life coach, right? If you're just telling them what they want, or not as a friend, whatever, like you're just telling them what they want to hear, right? And they like once again, like I think I've touched on this before, maybe like indirectly, like in this episode, but yeah, I have. It's just like when you're a life coach, right? Or you're a videographer or whatever, right? And people come to you with their needs. They come to you like for questions or whatever, and they have that mindset of that they want to be.
So, I'm actually like very interested in what you're saying. Because
No, my friend Jordy goes every.
that's so good, actually. Fuck. Damn it! You had me like at the edge of my seat right there. Fuck, you were riffing. God damn. What is a sauce's? Wait, no. What's a DJ's favorite sauce?
Sauce.
Marinara.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, like what I was saying before. Every single time, like we keep talking about people using their positions and as a means for attention, right? Every single time, it just makes me think that those people in those positions, whether it be a life coach, videographer, video editor, any type of job in particular, that they feel that they feel of a superior status at that gains them attention and it makes them feel good, right? Egoically, it makes me feel like they don't care about the job at all, right? Not at all, but like for the most part, right? Because if they genuinely cared, right, it wouldn't be pursued as a means to an end.
Right.
If they genuinely cared, like I said before, they would pursue it in itself for itself, right? And it's just like when someone asks you, like, "Oh, why do you do what you love?" And people are just like, "I do it because I love it," right? Like I don't care about what anybody says. I don't care about what effects it has on me. I just do it because I love it, right? And no matter what obstacles they're thrown at you, no matter what challenges you face, you're always going to continue to keep pursuing this, right? Regardless of what attention you get, regardless of what status people view you as, what position in society people believe you are, right? Like how successful you are, right? Like how well you're doing overall, right? You just keep doing it, right? Like just look at my YouTube channel. Like my channel is, according to, people like views wise, I've touched on this example so many times. My channel is dog shit, right? But I just keep doing it because why? I love it, right? And the same thing with weightlifting, videography, any of these type of inherent interests that I genuinely love. I just keep doing it and I pursue it in itself for itself, not as a means to an end. 100%. And I genuinely care about it.
It's like immediately the second you said that, it made me think about the quote that I always hear. It's like, if you didn't get paid for a job, what job would you pick? And it's always like, oh, that's a good idea. And then you think about it like, whoa, what do I love to do? But you never like thinking about it. It's like, it's because if you're using something as a means to an end, you're not going to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it's that simple. Like, if you do something you love to do, you're not in it for the money. You're not in it for the fame. You're not in it for the significance. You're not in it for the paycheck. You're not in it for any of those things. You're in it because you're in it for it. For whatever it is. You're not using it as a means to an end. It is the end. And when you do things and you try and do it backhanded and unconsciously or subconsciously trying to get attention for it or get money for it or feel good for it or get love and connection for it or do it to be liked or whatever, you're fucking yourself. Because now you're spending all of your time using things, using people, using situations so that you can jump over that and reach your significance, jump over that and reach your money, jump over that and reach your attention or whatever it is that you're using it as a means to an end for. But the more you do that, the worse you're going to feel about yourself. Like the way that I always explain it to people is like, imagine if somebody asked you to go out a lunch date with them, or just go out to lunch with them, right? And you don't actually like this person. Like, let's say you ask me to go out to lunch. Hey Jay, you want to go out to lunch with me? And I don't like you. Like we don't vibe. I'm not going to enjoy my time with lunch for you. I don't want to spend 2 hours with you. The conversation's going to be boring to me. I don't want to spend time with you. And I'm like, you know what? Are you going to pay for lunch? And you're like, of course, I'll pay for lunch. I'm like, oh, dude, free burrito. Like, let's go. Like, you're going to feel like a piece of shit afterwards. Why? Because I'm not going out to lunch to go out to lunch with you. I'm going out to lunch because you're paying for my food, right? And so I'm using you as a means to an end.
Yeah.
Cal is not Cal. I'm not going for Cal. I'm going because free food, right? And that's what makes you feel shitty.
Great point.
And if you do that with a career, you do that with a hobby, you do that with anything, you're going to feel like a piece of shit. And rightfully so. It's your body and your mind's way of telling you you're not in it for the right reasons. You are not. Because if you were in it for the right reasons, you wouldn't want the secondary payoff. You wouldn't go to work whether or not you got a paycheck. You wouldn't be checking your bank account every single day saying, did I get enough money? Where are my tips? Where's this? You'd be like, oh, I'm here because I love it.
Yeah. And I feel the same way with videography.
Yeah. You could tell.
Yeah.
You could tell.
No. Not that I do it in itself.
Really? Whoa.
Yeah, dude.
What?
Yeah, man. I think part of it. See, here's where my confusion comes in, right? Because a lot of the times I feel like I do it as a means to pursue attention, right?
Really?
Yeah, but like also at the same time too, I love it. Like, but like maybe I like it, but I don't love it. You know what I mean?
Do you think that's maybe okay? So
it's tough, you know?
Like
Like
sometimes, okay, I get what you're saying, because I feel like that sometimes with like my social media pages.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the things that I've realized. And I just want to know if, like, I'm not saying this to make this about me. I'm saying, I'm just think about what I'm saying right now, and then see if this resonates with your situation or not. Okay, because with my TikTok pages, like, I realized there was some, like, especially after I got videos that hit millions of views, what I would start doing was when I would edit content, my for the first couple months, my only mission was help people. If they're going to watch this, if they're going to read this, if they're going to see this and hear this, their life is going to be better. They're going to want to do something with themselves. They're going to want to make their life better. And that was my only outcome. And it didn't matter how many views I got. But then when I got a video that got so many views, like the melatonin videos I posted, those got like 4 million views each. And I posted them because I wanted people to be aware, like, oh, there's actually some downfalls of melatonin. Like, this is just a physical health sort of thing. Like, just put it out there. Got so many views. And then I realized there was a lot of times where I was going to Andrew Huberman's page trying to get some, scare you tactic, like masking it with personal development, self-improvement, trying to get people to get views so that I could feel significant. And then I started feeling shit about doing the TikToks. But I could do the same thing on the surface. It looks the same. Like, it could even be good information that could help somebody's life. But I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. So now I'm not enjoying doing TikTok anymore. Because now I'm pursuing it sometimes for the views and sometimes to make people's life better. But if every single, and I've noticed this over the past couple months, especially once my pages started declining, was, okay, the views don't matter anymore because like my page is doing dog shit. So like all I'm going to do is try and impact one person's life with this video. And every time I've been posting for the past month, I feel electrified again. Wow. Because all I'm doing is thinking, can I change one person? Yeah. Can I know it sounds so corny and so cliche. Like, can I impact one person's life? Yeah. It's all worth it if that can happen. Yeah. I don't care how many views. I don't care how many likes, shares, comments. I don't give a fuck anymore. Yeah. Like, when I was getting caught up in, I'm trying to post something to get views, to get followers, to meet some end, then I started hating it. Yeah. Then I didn't love it anymore because I was doing it for the wrong reason. But I'm still doing it. But in my head, it was, I'm doing this for something else, not because I want to impact people. Yeah. So I don't know if that's what it's like for you with videography. I just know that when I consciously remind myself every step of the process, with the captions, with the editing, with anything at all, I want somebody to be impacted, I feel way better. And it reignites that passion because now I'm realigned with my actual purpose, not aligned with, hopefully I can get 1 million views on this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. It's interesting because like I was saying before, I genuinely like video. I love content creation. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt in my mind. But I think like a lot of times I do get caught up in that trap of like doing it for the views, doing it for the attention, doing it for the things, doing it for things that I shouldn't be doing it for, right? Like the reason I should be doing it is because of like I love videography, right? Like that's what I should be doing it for. Like, and then whatever's a byproduct of that should be a byproduct of it. But I notice a lot of times like I like that feeling, that initial feeling like, oh, Cal's the videographer guy, right? Cal's the video editor guy. Like I feel like some type of status, some type of like positioning, right? And then when I see like another videographer come along, when I see like another type of video editor, right, that comes along, I feel like threatened, right? I'm like, just like, no, it has to be me, right? Only me, right? Very egoic, right? I think what I have to do is I have to dive into this more, but I think just consciously reminding myself, similar to you, right, of like, and reevaluating why I got into this area in the first place and why I'm still doing it, right? Because like when I'm editing videos, like I edit them to the best of my abilities, right? Like I edit them to, I mean, like, I'm almost certain I do it to the best of my abilities for itself, right? But I think sometimes there are traces of like that egoic feeling, right? And I think just like, yeah, I feel like I partially have traces of that egoic feeling, right? And it's tough because at times I feel like I'm pursuing it in itself, right? And I feel this need, this constant gravitation to continue to keep working, right? But at the same time, too, when I think it comes more to the social media side of things, right? When it comes more to like that part, that end of things, right? And sometimes in person, too, when I'm filming and editing, there are a lot more traces of that, like using it as a means for attention, significance, position, status. So it's something I got to look at more deeply and evaluate. But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
Right. But I feel like you also don't start comparing yourself to other people until you accept the attention. Once you accept Cal's a videographer, then you're in the game.
Yeah.
If you say, hey man, thanks, but like, you know, I just do this because I love it.
Yeah.
I appreciate
it just feels so much better.
Right. Then it's like there's no game. There's no comparison ever at all. And you could be the best or the worst, you're gonna love it the same. But once you put yourself in the game of, hey, you know, I get attention for this. This is great.
Yeah.
I'm Cal the videographer.
Yeah.
Then you're fucked. Because now you're in the game.
Yeah.
Now there's a comparison. Now there's a scoreboard. You could choose not to have a scoreboard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. And yeah, that's a great way of looking at it, dude. Like, because yeah, once you're in the game, that's when the mountain climbing starts, right? And it's not to say you can't look at others for advice. You can't look at others to get better, right? To help set standards. But I think it just feels so much better when you're just like, hey man, I do this because I love it, right? And it's not some pursuit that you're using to become a credible, reliable videographer, right? But you become that just by practicing the art over time, right? You don't need to prove that you're credible.
Yeah.
You're just credible if you're credible.
It's
you know
funny
what I mean?
because the person that doesn't judge the person at the top or the bottom and doesn't throw themselves in the game where there's a scoreboard and significance attached to anything, those are the ones that do the best because they're doing it for it. They're doing it not as a means to an end, not to feel significant. They're doing it because they love it. And those are the people that are going to be at the top compared to everybody else because that's what everybody else is thinking. Yeah. But in their mind, even though they're at the top of everybody else's scoreboard, there's no scoreboard.
Yeah. They don't even care about the game.
There's no game.
Yeah. All right, man. Hit that. Hit that fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been episode number 70 of the Conscious Cast. I'm your host, Cal.
And episode 23.
And episode 23. And episode 23 of the Conscious Cast. Ooh, got our nice little drone camera. But yeah, guys,
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Where can they find you, my man?
Where can they find you, my man?
Cowboys.
It'll be in the bio.
Jason Scaloro.
Jason Scaloro. Cowboys. Love yourself because I love you.
Stay handsome, and we're clocking out, people.
Peace.